Taking a look at today's equity index futures markets, let's look at the Russell futures as they're higher for a second session today, trying to hold on the gains today. Now, we did see them up quite a bit middle of the day. Markets giving up some ground late in the session, but the Russell futures are still higher. And with that, there would be a second day of upward price action for the Russell futures and outpacing the other major equity index futures today. And I think when you look at the themes today that are helping to influence the Russell futures, the biggest theme, I think, is really the restrictions surrounding COVID, and we continue to see restrictions either rolling off or the potential for them being lifted as cases are declining here in the last month. And I think that in theory is going to help the Russell futures if we continue to see these restrictions slowly rolling off, as that would infer that there's going to be an increase in activity, economic activity that would benefit some of these smaller cap names. And certainly when you look at travel and leisure names today, we're seeing that sector outperforming. And again, I think that that's another theme that would benefit the small caps. Now, certainly the merger talks between Frontier and Spirit are also influencing the travel and leisure area today. But overall, you're still seeing a lot of those names having a positive session today, with the expectations that fewer restrictions are going to increase travel and activity from an economic standpoint. Looking at the general trends, as I mentioned, the Russell futures are outpacing the other major futures today. If you look at them from a performance standpoint, the Russell futures are up the most. The Dow futures are giving up a little bit of ground, but not too much. We're seeing the S&P and the NASDAQ futures down more so than the Russell futures today. But the general trends for the year, still the Russell futures are underperforming relative to those other three major equity index futures markets, as the Russell futures are down slightly more than the NASDAQ for the year, certainly. And then the S&P futures are down about half as much. And the Dow futures are, to this point, at this point in the year, are down the least of all the four major equity index futures markets.